Welcome. In this video, I'm going to be giving you a tour of the extra large box. And these boxes are a little bit different from the large box from FedEx. So I'm going to actually put this together with you on the video so you have a better sense of how to do it. It's not super complicated, but I call this the pie box, and there's two versions. There's this pie box, which is just like it sounds. It's like a pie. It's kind of like this, but it's square, and it's relatively a shallow depth to it. And then there's the other FedEx extra large box, which is a square shape, and they have a drawing of it right there. You can see the instructions. So we're going to put both of these together. It's basically a slightly larger version of the FedEx large box. So we're going to put both of these together. We'll start with the pie box, which is my preferred one. It's a little bit of origami, but basically you're just going to take it and pull it apart at the corners like this. And it's going to naturally come together in the center. I'll just show you what it looks like from the inside. Because you want to get that center piece to come together, and it helps to push it. And just get it to lock together. So that's what it looks like when you lock it together. Then you'll notice this is pre-perforated. Okay, so that's where you're going to fold it. And basically what this does is it forms a second inner layer, and there's this thin piece here as well where you fold it in and it creates a wall. And you can see inside there it says tuck. Says tuck this inside. I think I can show you here. Tuck this flap inside the box. You can see that. Okay, so that's what we're doing. We're tucking this inside. So that's how stage one should look. And then here's the instructions if you want to see how they describe it. You put your stuff in, and then you fold this. Fold that inside. So it's going to look like that. This is what keeps it closed, this little flap. So we're going to fold this top part. Going to fold that. Bring it down. and then goes inside here. Must be catching a little bit. But yeah, that will close. And then looks like this cardboard shouldn't be there. So sometimes you will find these little pieces that in the manufacturing process didn't get cut. Then you put this, push that in, and it has these edges here so that once it goes in, it sort of locks inside and doesn't want to get pulled back out. So let's push that in. And then you want to tape over that. So the way I do it is I run a piece of tape all the way around, all the way across there, and then all the way back up, and then finish back over the original tape. So this is what it looks like in its final form. That's why I call it the pie box. And I actually really like this when I want to send a big set of stuff to a client. I'll put it in that, and it's incredible. It's only $32.50 to send that cross country, you know, New York to LA, New York to San Francisco, New York to Honolulu, New York to Anchorage. $32 to send that 2 days. So you talk to some client on Monday, you put this in the mail by 5 p.m. and it gets to your client by 5 p.m. on Wednesday for $32.50. That's incredible. So here's the extra large box, and let's put this one together. So here's their set of instructions here. You're basically doing the same thing as before. You're building the sidewalls, and then you're pushing together the remaining stuff. So we'll pull that bottom together like that. That's step one. I'll show you from the other angle. Once it gets to about there, you want to put your hand in and press it. Press it the rest of the way until it's flat. Okay, now it's flat. Now you've got the bottom is structurally sound. Then you've got 4 flaps. These 2 flaps, this is the outermost flap right here. That goes last. This is the flap that goes underneath. This goes third. These 2 flaps can go in either order. They're number 1 and 2. So you just push them down like that, and they actually just lock in there. You can see they basically lock right into that little area right there. So that's going to stay in place. And see that little area right there? That's where this tab locks in. So you're just, and there's supposed to be this edge here, like this 1 centimeter, 1/2 inch edge. That's supposed to be like sort of a shelf, a little bit of a shelf to create that double wall. So you just get your hand in there and press it all the way into the edge. So you see those 2 little tabs? They're at 90 degrees and they're just part of the bottom. Then you have your instruction tab. This needs to get bent first. That goes like that. You have to make sure that this is your locking tab. So this is still connected. You just separate that out like that. And then the branded top, you're going to fold this over. Press it in there. And then push this piece in. And it's not supposed to go in super easily because it's supposed to lock in there. That's why there's these ridges here and here. Because once that goes in, it doesn't come back out. Sort of like a fishing hook. So it's supposed to be tough to push in there because once it gets fully in there, it's not going to want to come back out. And then you tape over this and put the tape all the way around and have the tape come back over itself a few inches. And then you've got a finished extra large box. And it's basically a cube. So it's not exactly a cube, but it's about a 11 inch by 11 inch by 11 inch cube. Or you could say 10.5 by 10.5 by 10.5 inch cube. So this is the first, and this is the other extra large box. (15 by 14 by 6). So you think like a 14-inch pie can fit in there. And this has a limit of 50 pounds. And this also has a limit of 50 pounds. So for either of these, you take your shipping label and you just put it, I like to put it like that. But you could also do it like that. And this is how they say to do it. I like to keep the purple part where the sleeve opens far from the edge, because I feel like then there's less of a risk that it hits a snag and opens up. And you can also put a piece of tape over the label and over this opening so that it's less likely or just can't come apart. Another tip is put your shipping label, print it out, fold it in half, put it right in here. And only after you do that should you remove the backing and stick it to the box, because once you put the paper inside here, it's a lot easier to stick it to the box and not have it stick to itself or get crumpled up. I'm going to give you the pricing on these, but I also want to do a size comparison with the large box. So I've got a whole separate video on the large box, but the extra large really similar dimension there, but in terms of depth, pretty significant difference. So it's not really the same shape as the medium and small and large. It's its own beast. And then the cube, almost cube, extra large box. I have the large box here to compare it to. So they're basically the same dimensions right along here. Is that right? So they're very similar along this dimension. Along this dimension, they're not. And then in terms of thickness, or depth, pretty different. So let's get into the pricing now. This information is in my free FedEx course, where I also talk about USPS and UPS. I prefer FedEx for most things, but there are some limited use cases. Like, for example, FedEx can't deliver to PO boxes. So for the extra large box, 3-day and 2-day are the same price as of about a year ago. The 2-day is just called 2-day. The 3-day is called Express Saver. And I'm giving you the rates for one rate. And that's what I usually use. You can also get custom rates that are not part of one rate, and they'll do it by exact distance and by weight. But often one rate is a lower price. There are like discount reward programs, but those programs don't apply to one rate. So one rate is just all about simplifying everything, and I find it to be a lot more convenient. And so I pretty much always use one rate, and it's pretty much always cheaper as well, often substantially. So the extra large box and the tube are actually the same price. So that's another thing to just remember. Extra large box for 2-day and 3-day are $32.50 for 2-day AM. So the prices I'm going to give you, there's 3 regions. There's local, regional, and national. The price for local is sort of your base rate, and then regional is usually about 1.5x. So if the shipping is $100 local, it's going to be about $150 for regional and about $200 for national. So it's a 1.5x or a 2x, usually a little bit less than that, but it's a good ballpark. So extra large box local, $32.50 2-day, $48.60 2-day AM, 6710 standard overnight, 7830 priority overnight, 13230 first overnight. So regional, still 3250 for 2-day, 6215 for 2-day AM, 11350 for standard overnight, 15215 for priority overnight, 20615 for first overnight. For national, this would be like New York to LA, New York to Honolulu. You're going to do 3250 for 2-day, 140.45 for 2-day AM, 174.45 for standard overnight, 223.35 for priority overnight, and 277.35 for first overnight. So 2-day AM basically means if you send it out Monday before 5 p.m., it's going to get to the recipient Wednesday before 10:30 a.m. That's 2-day AM. Standard overnight will get it there Tuesday by 3 p.m. Priority overnight will get it there by 10:30 a.m. Tuesday morning. First overnight will get it there by 8 or 8:30 a.m. Tuesday morning. So there's a 180-page PDF that I'm looking at here that you'll get for free in my course, plus a bunch of other free resources. The course itself is free. I've also got playlists on my channel for FedEx and tours of all these different packaging things. I also cover other business topics, entrepreneurial stuff on this channel. My main channel, I talk about productivity and accelerated learning, so you can check that out as well. Go to timothykenny.com if you want to get on my newsletter, where you get information on all my stuff, my business courses, as well as my productivity and accelerated learning courses. If there's a video you want me to create, you can email me at support@timothykenny.com or just leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to get more content like this, and I'll see you in the next video.